part will be named the resilience part. And that is in recognition of the indomitable, that's the word in my script here, but it is more than just indomitable, refusing to be defeated. But it is the ability to recover even after a tragedy. Fundamental principle for our PATH program, that when we do give social welfare benefits, it is usually in exchange for some social behavior change that promotes growth. Not just give away for no reason, or to spend on projects that don't give a high social return. The caring economy that we are building here today is exemplified by this part. Because what the government is doing is taking the increased productivity of every one of you that sits here. Because the economy can only grow unless your community economy grows, unless your household grows, and unless you, the workers and entrepreneurs, produce more. That's how the economy grows. So if there is more revenue, it comes from your greater output. You hire us as government to oversee this increased output and make a determination as to what is the best thing to spend it on. Of course, we always listen to what the people say, and the people of Portmore have always been saying, we need safe, well-built social spaces. And they have been saying this for a long time. Portmore, with almost 200,000 residents, does not have a park. Your mayor is looking at me, and I'm reading his eyes, and I'm listening. We don't have a hospital. You need a proper, well-defined market space. We have started that. And there are some other critical things that Portmore would need. And your government, in building the caring economy, has started to address your need for a proper health facility. So you would recall yesterday, I broke ground for the upgrade of the infrastructure of the Spanish Town Hospital. The hospital built 70 years ago. We're going to put up a 6-story building, which will make it one of the most modern health facilities in the country. And that is how we give back the productivity of the nation to the people. By improving your health care. That's how we build the economy that cares about you. And in Portmore, we are going to be building a Type 5 health center. A Type 5 health center is just one step below a hospital. It will try to offer all the services of a hospital, except some of the critical clinical services. But then, in a matter of time, that can be upgraded. And we are already budgeted for it, and it has been announced in addition to one that we're going to do in Monaba and another in St. Diego. So that is how we are using the dividends from proper management of the economy to care for the people. So this part is part of our caring agenda. It's part of saying to you, look, we know you need a place that you can jog around in the mornings, that you can just stroll around, that you can spread a picnic blanket and just chill with your friends, or just gather in a safe and clean place or have a concert, you know how that can just reduce the tension? In addition to reduce the hypertension. 4.5 acres of the 26 acres will be reserved for a transportation hub. Now I know that there are concerns about a transportation center. Notice I didn't use that term. And it is a much smaller footprint. It is a transportation hub. In any event, once we put up the park and it becomes a focal area, a destination, you're going to need to make provision for transportation. So when we are planning, we think about those things. We don't want people stopping off in the road in order to get to the park or coming from the park, crossing the road to get to transportation. Let's do it orderly. Let's plan for it, let's manage it. So there will be a transportation hub there. And it will be designed in such a way that it does not take away from the aesthetic of the park. Because we know what happens in our transportation hubs. It will not happen in this park. 21.5 acres will remain, and 18.5 acres will be used for the park itself. The original concept was only to use 15 acres for the park, and the rest would have been for the transportation center. We're not going with that money.
Yes.
However, we will use 2.75 acres for commercial spaces, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. The park will be named the Resilience Park, and that is in recognition of the indomitable, that's the word in my script here, but it is more than just indomitable, refusing to be defeated, but it is the ability to recover even after a tragedy, even after a catastrophe. Even if we are defeated in the battle, we will recover to win the war. And not just recover, but recover stronger. And that's the idea behind resilience. There is a deeper meaning to the building of the infrastructure. When Prime Minister Patterson did Emancipation Park, it was in honor of our struggle to freedom. We built a monument to that, and it has served Jamaica well. It is iconic. People go there to exercise, to recreate, to entertain. It has added significant value to Kingston and St. Anne. I have the privilege of building one such park, and I believe I've done one step better.
Yes, of course, improvement,
But we built the park in Montego Bay, using it as well to establish another important principle and definition of the Jamaican people, that of harmony. So we took a piece of land that was previously called Dumbo Beach, which just reflected the negative side of our culture and history, where we would take a beach and dump it up with rubbish and all kinds of things. And we changed it into probably the finest park in the Caribbean. If you haven't had a chance to go there, I urge you to go there. When you talk about people spreading their blanket and having picnics, That is what happens at that park every Sunday. It is a fantastic piece of social infrastructure. And I feel that it has changed how people interact with each other. It's a lovely facility. And today, I have the privilege once more to start the construction of another such park, which we know will have a signal impact on the minds and psyche and behavior of Jamaicans, the Resilience Park. We have a few more parks to come.
Yes.
The idea is that every parish in Jamaica should have one such park.
Vision. Yes, vision.
So I've tasked the UDC to actively search for lands in all the parishes that we have to create such parks. So this park will have soft and hard landscapes, meaning that some areas will be grass and some areas will have other materials for surface. It will have sporting facilities. It will have event spaces. When we say event spaces, possibly an amphitheater or other such arrangements. I said commercial spaces before, and the distinction with Emancipation Park and Harmony Park is that Harmony Park has commercial spaces. It gives a little bit more service to the park, a little bit more functionality, and it works very well. It works very well, but more importantly, it helps to subsidize the management cost of the park. It will have public restrooms, but these won't be like public restrooms that exist in other areas. These restrooms, you could rest in them. We'll be using smart technology and green technology. So solar will be used right throughout to ensure that we have electricity to operate our pumps and lights and so forth, and to ensure that we can have proper irrigation so that the park can indeed be green and verdant in its appearance. We will have sufficient parking, and we will pay close attention to security. So even though you will be able to enter free of cost, the security arrangements will be such that you will be required to comply with them in order to enter. So it will not be a free-for-all to enter the park. Right? We know how parks fail. Even the best facilities fail if you do not guarantee security for the users. When people come into this park, they must feel free. Nobody's going to harass them to sell them anything. Nobody's going to harass them to beg them anything. Nobody's going to steal the stuff that you put down. No. This is a park where we come to relax and get it. We will even have electric vehicle charging stations here. We will be making provision for conservation, including rainwater harvesting, and we expect that we will have about 75,000 gallons of water that we will be able to harvest from the 26 acres. We will have a 700-meter jogging trail around the park, and we will use 70% recycled materials for this. A large part of the park is educational. So right around the park, you will have signs and interactive equipment that will give you information about climate change, about conservation, about recycling, and so forth. The intention is to use the park to change the attitudes of Jamaicans towards waste disposal, protecting the environment, and increasing the understanding of climate change. There is no doubt that this park will create significant economic activity in Portmore. And it will increase the property value of all the properties around the park, without question. But most importantly, I think it will improve how each resident of Portmore feels about themselves and their community. The park will create about 400 jobs and 200 indirect jobs during its construction phase, and during its operational phase, we will have about 70 direct jobs and 30 indirect jobs as a result of the park. In terms of the commercial spaces, we will have 14 designated commercial spaces for commercial activities and 18 kiosks, smaller spaces for operations. So we are here today with a ceremony which is important to mark the start of the project, which will begin, ground will be broken, the contractor is here with me, and this is now a serious warning. The 5th of February, they should begin boarding the site, putting up the fencing around the site to secure the site, and thereafter work will begin. So if the contractor knows what I know, we better start the 1st of February.